Hello students, now we are going to start our third part for computer science grade 11 and 12. We're going to start with communication and internet technology. So communication and internet technologies. A client-server model. A type of computing system in which one workstation serves the request of other system. Is a type of computing system in which one workstation, that means a workstation, gives requests of other systems. Service is generally the most powerful computer in a network. So most powerful computer is a server because server is the one who controls, who serves other computer. A client are the individual components which are connected in a network. The clients, it could be your mobile phone, your computer, your laptop. They are individual components which are connected to a network. A client rely on server resources such as files, devices, even processing power. So client depends on servers. On what? For sharing files or device or even a processing. Example of networks. It could be file application, printer, proxy. That means you can share your internet, you can print out and you can share applications, you can send files and receive. Internet. Internet, a global system of interconnected networks that use standard internet protocol suite known as TCP/IP. As I told you, an internet is a globally interconnected network that use a standard internet protocols or means set of rules known as TCP/IP. Transmission Controls Protocol or Internet Protocol. TCP/IP communication, the language of the internet, is a communication the language of internet. World Wide Web, system of interlinked hypertext documents accessed via an internet. So World Wide Web, in your URL bar you type hypertext documents, which is made by HTML. HTTP defines how the messages are formatted and transmitted and what action web servers and browsers should take in response to a versus command. HTTP is the rule of that if this website is safe or not safe, and how the link between the web servers and the browser. Hardware, the physical parts of the network. Local area network, as we studied, not over a large geographical area. Wide area network formed by a number of LAN connected together. Large area network. The internet is a WAN, therefore as more LANs are set up, it allows the internet to expand, and if they are maintained, they are in turn supporting the internet. Routers, a device that forwards the packet from the data between network using IP addresses. Can be used to connect multiple network segments. Can route packets from the same protocols over networks with dissimilar architecture over most efficient route. So we have already explained router. It's just a kind of a brief revision of a router. The key points, I would say. Gateways, a device used to connect networks with a different architecture and protocols. When a packet arrives at a gateway, software strips all the networking information, leaving only a raw data. As I said, that when it moves from one zone to another zone, the gateway of that zone is going to strip all the networking information. It's only going to take the raw data, the main information, and cover it up into according to their network information and send it to the user. Gateway translate the data into a new format and send it on using network protocols destination system. Server, a computer that runs server programs. Server can be a server request of a client. A client typically can connect to a server through a network. That means the role of server is to serve the client, to make it simpler for you. Communication system. The public service telephone network PSTN refer to all the telephone networks in the world. All the networks connected together by switching center. That means all the networks is being connected. Telephone network, we're talking about telephone network, is connected by a switching center. That means one center. Allow telephone to communicate with one another. The internet connection using PSTN is known as a dial-up. That means with the help of a dial-up connection, we can get access to an internet. Old days they used to use a dial-up. That means they give you a username and password, and you should have a landline, and you connect it with your device, and you dial up. That means you write username and password, and once it get connected, you will have an internet connection. Data is transferred using existing telephone line. When the data is being transmitted, the computer dials the network to set up a connection. So with the help of telephone line, they use to transmit the data. Dedicate line, a telecommunication path between 2 points. Is going to be a communication between 2 points, one place to another. Not shared in common among multiple users. Allow you to maintain continuous uninterrupted presence on a web, and able to host website as well browse. Okay. A cell phone network. Cell. This is a form of cells. That means many cells, a form in a part of made of a network. Cell phone network. A wireless network spread over a land area called cell. Each cell is served by at least one fixed location. That means you can see that each one has its fixed location. Transceiver known as base station. That's why we even use cell phones now. Like for I have a mobile for Libya and Madars. They have different antennas all over the country, and they are linked with each other in a form of cells. So if you are in between the range, it will be connected. Each cell use different set of frequency to avoid interference. So each one have their own frequency, so they won't disturb each other. When joined together, cells provide radio coverage over a wide geographical area. So once they are, for example, when they are um, joined together, they give you the coverage over a long geographical area. So for example, if this is, for example, this is one, let me put the pen. For example, this is one, this is two, and this is something, let's say 3. Not able to type it with write it with the mouse. Okay, 4. So if 1 is not working, I will take it from 4. If 4 is not working, I will get my connection from 2, and if 2 is not working, I will take it from 3, and all of them, they are connected with each other. A portable transceiver, portable, that means you can carry, example is mobile phone, are able to communicate with each other and also access the internet via base stations. Communication methods. We have communication method benefits and drawbacks or advantage or disadvantages of communication method. The first method is known as copper cable. It is the best conductor, flexible, safe and high melting point. Best conductor, that means it receives that flexible and safe high melting point. That means even if it's hot, the weather is hot, it won't melt that easily. Drawbacks or disadvantage: doesn't perform well with small charges, affected by electromagnetism field and expensive. So it's expensive, it is affected by electromagnetism field and does not perform well with the small charges. Fiber optic cable: thinner, less signal degradation and light weight. Is a thinner, is a less weight, and is a less signal degradation. That does not require too much signal, even a less signal will do a work. Need expensive optical transmitters and receivers. The device which is really expensive. That means those connect the fiber optic from one place to another, or I make it let's say switches for fiber optic. Okay, come to this one. Then you have radio waves, wireless, can travel over large distance and not expensive. Drawbacks: low frequency, transmit less data at one time, affected by radio station with a similar frequency. If the radio station have similar frequency, it will get affected. And low frequency transmit and less data at one time. Is a wireless connection, it could be sent by wireless, can travel over large distance and not that expensive. Microwaves, they use wireless, large bandwidth. Immediate towers, expensive to build. That means you have to build towers for microwaves, and it could go with the large bandwidth. And physical obstacle can interface. That means if there's something buildings in between them, between the antennas or between the towers, it will get affected. Satellite is a wireless, cheap with long distance, for example from one country to another country. What does it mean cheap and long? Because if you buy a cable from one country to another, it will be more costly comparing to your satellite connection. Easy to interfere, expensive to set up. Bitstreaming. Bitstreaming, contiguous sequence of bit representing the stream of data and transmit continuously over one communication path, serial, one at a time. That means the streaming, the data has been sent like your zeros and ones, like each, for example, as I told you that each bit will travel at a time. As you know that we have 8 bits. In one byte we have 8 bits. Instead of going the 8 of them together, each bit will travel one at a time. Real-time streaming, an event captured alive. The video signals is encoded to a streaming media file. The encoded feed is then uploaded to a file server. Streaming servers duplicate the feeds and send it to all the client requesting in a real time. How does it work? You have a client, you have a server. For example, one of a client is making a video. That video is going where? It's going on a streaming media file on a server in a form of words, in a video signal like streaming media file like MP4 or VLC and so on. And it encode the upload and it save the file in a server. Then a duplicate file is being sent to a second user who is asking to watch this video at a moment. The stream server duplicate the feed and send it to all the client requesting in a real time, like live streaming. This is about how your live streaming work. On-demand streaming is an example of a YouTube or a saved video on a network. A video is stored on a server streaming media file in the form of a media file like MP4. If the client requests to watch a specific video, the bit streaming is set up which transmit the saved video. So it transmitting, as I told you, that when you open a YouTube video, you see that a black line before the red, the buffering line. It buffers, so that are the bit streaming, and then it plays your video. It is important for the client to have the fast broadband speed, the internet connection with the bit streaming, because the client has to download the bits and display it at the same time. You should have a good internet connection, because once you open that video, it's downloading, temporary download, and you're playing the video at the same time. Broadband speed required depends on the type of stream. If user requires better quality, then higher speed needs, because each frame larger in size. So if the quality is much better, that means you need a better internet connection if you want to play that thing much faster. User home stream real time need faster internet speed in comparison on demand, because there are greater numbers of users requesting the same data simultaneously. Simultaneously mean at the same time. Why on real time I need better connection, even though if I do not have that that connection on saved videos? Because many users, they're requesting for that video at the same time, so it's like they're rushing to it, who comes first. Whereas for the saved videos, it's okay, that means it can take, it might, even if take times, you will get your video. So that's why the internet connection should be better for real streaming real time. IP addressing. IP address, a numerical label assigned to each device computer participating in a computer network that uses the internet protocol. The most common form of IP address is IP version, for which requires 32 bits or 4 bytes to store an address. You can see here, this is for network and this is for your host. Okay. An IP address serves two principal functions. There are two principles of IP address: host or network interface identification, and location addressing. That means the host and then the location of an IP addresses. When communicating, a device can send another a message by stating their IP address and requesting a message to be sent through the router. We have two types of IP address: public IP address and private IP address. Public IP address provided to a home network by an ISP, means internet service provider, like your LTT, they provide you then public IP address. Address is unique throughout the internet. That means no one will have this IP address, but it's public. It keeps on IP address because keeps on changing. It does not always stick to you. Allow two computers to identify each other. Private issued by a router to each device in a home network. That means from your router to your computer. That means it won't be given to the whole city. That means if that so it's going to be your private, your home, your office, your university, and so on. Address only unique in the network, cannot be accessed through the internet. So you could it could not anyone can come to get access to your computer or device, because it's going to be internal IP addresses. Uniform resource locator URL, a character strings words referring to the location of the internet resource. That means like URL, you type, like you're typing the character strings, like www.google.com. Google is a string characters, many characters together, known as a string, referring to what? To an internet resource. URL allowed us to specify the domain name exact location of the resource on the internet. Here they give an example. HTTP is the protocol set of rules. Commons.wikimedia.org is a host name. This is a file where the file's been location on a server. That means where the file is been saved on a server. Repeating, HTTP a protocol, common, host name, and where on your server. Like in your computer you have desktop and you have different files. So where in a server that file is being saved. URL can be summarized as a protocol, host name, and location of the file. Domain name, humanly memorable name for internet. Participants such as computers and networks. One domain name can be connected to multiple IP addresses. That means one domain can be connected. Basic domain name is for humanly memorable, that so human can memorize it, memorize the name easily. Domain name services, DNS, a naming system used for computers or resources having internet connection. This is used for resources, those who have internet connection, like host Windows. Domain name Microsoft.com. That means to enter Microsoft I should have an internet connection. Top level domain .com, .ly, and so on. Client and server side scripting. Sequence of an event viewing and website. A user specify URL in their client. The client sends the DNS lookup request to convert URL to an IP address. That means the URL, the name, the string is being converted to IP address so your computer can understand. And initiates a TCP connection to server. The server acknowledges the TCP connection, the set of the protocols. Client sends the HTTP request to retrieve the content of the URL. This is the process how it works. The server replies with the content for the web page and browser. Retrieves content from the HTTP packet and may erase this one. Okay, the packet renders here. Client side script. Code that runs on a client written using. Script is that is already planned how it will work. So you have client side script and you have server side script. Script means how it will work. That means it's already they already decide how it will go. Languages support by browser, e.g. JavaScript enables the web page to be scripted to have a different and changing content depending on a user's input or other variables. And server side script, the code that runs over server. So these codes run on a client computer and this code runs on a server. Code that runs over server written using languages supported by server, e.g. PHP, used to provide interface for the client and to limit client access to the database. Okay, thank you for watching, students. If you have any question, I'm available from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. You can ask me if you have any question, any confusion, I will answer you. Thank you for watching.